it out. What's up? It's your boy A-Black with ABlackTV, and you watching this in Charlotte. Today, man, I'm here with a legend. I'm a big fan. I'm here with the man, Muggsy Bogues. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
You know, first off, thank you again for having this interview. What you been having going on recently?
Well, basically, you know, still living here in the city of Charlotte, well active in the community, coaching high school basketball at United Faith Christian Academy, mentoring some young men. I'm enjoying it tremendously. Having the opportunity to really touch some good souls, and at the same time also serving as an ambassador for the NBA. Working on some projects as well with my foundation, the Always Believe Foundation. We're gonna get introduced to Charlotte this summer, so I'm looking forward to, you know, continue to do some great things in the community of Charlotte.
I'm a homebody. Charlotte has grown so much since I've been here. You gotta remember, I've been here since '88. We didn't have an epicenter. We didn't have the Time Warner. You know, was just getting the Arboretum. You know, we didn't have the South Park malls. But, you know, I just love Charlotte. I am just in love with the city of Charlotte. The people as well, they've been nothing but more than grateful to me. I mean, I don't want to mention names, but there's so many people that out here that touch me, that mean so much to me. And that's one of the reasons that I haven't left, because of the relationships, the people, the way the town is, how much it's grown, and how people treat one another, and the spirit that is still here. You know, it would never leave.
Definitely. All right, so this is Charlotte, so we got to talk about the Charlotte Hornets, man. You know, one of the biggest eras in your career. Talk about, you know, when you first started with the Hornets and, you know, your expectations with them.
Well, it was, I mean, expectation wasn't much, you know, at the beginning, because being drafted by Washington.
The Washington Bullets select Tyrone Bogues.
In '87, and then only playing for 1 year, and felt like, you know, it was time to move on, and having the opportunity to come down, you know, to join the Charlotte Hornets. Even, you know, which I just left a year ago because I went to school an hour and a half away from there in Wake Forest. So I had some familiarity with the city. You know, I had some kind of, you know, expectation in terms of what it may be like, not knowing what it turned out to be, that it was going to be that dynamic. Had no idea that it would have that type of support at the beginning of our season. And coming down here, being one of the originals, seeing 24,000 coming out supporting you night in and night out. In the very first game, we played Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, it was a very, very, very big thing around here in Charlotte. We had everybody come to the arenas dressed up in their tuxedos and their gowns, the ladies in the gowns. So it was a really extravaganza night.
Yeah.
We wound up losing about 40 points that night.
Wow.
You know, to Cleveland. But the entire arena stood up and gave us a standing ovation. That then let me know that this was going to be something very special. This is going to be a special time playing for this organization.
Going from the transition of being a player in the coach.
Well, as a player, you have more control. You feel like you can go out there and execute pretty much what the game plan is. And, you know, as a player, you're just out there in the moment. You know, everything happens instinctively. You have more control of what the outcomes will be. You know, as a coach, it's totally different. It's more of a mentoring situation, a managing situation, trying to get a group of young people or a group of individuals to coexist as one. You know, so that's the difference, the main difference of coaching and as a player.
You know, what do you think helped you at an early age to instill this desire to want to help others and mentor young people?
Well, it all stems from my upbringing. You know, coming from the inner city of Baltimore, Maryland, being raised by a single parent, you know, seeing some of the things that took place outside your household, you know, all the drug festivity, all the violence that happened, and you know, just wanting something better out of life, and having that, you know, having the opportunity to play sports, and having a gift that God has given me, and being able to recognize with that gift at an early age, and having that belief that going on and prospering myself and better yourself and trying to, get out of a situation where you feel like you can come back and help your mom and treat her the way that she wants to be treated. So, when she instilled a lot of good principles in me. Yeah. And by her doing that, it gave me the means to, hey, if I ever make it, I ever get in the position where I can help others, I'm gonna do so.
Okay, great. You say that you're into fashion?
I'm a clothes guy. I love clothes. When I had an opportunity, when I first became in position where I can get my own clothes made, because it was kind of hard for me to go find clothes off the rack because of your length. They always have your weight, but the length will never be right. But I enjoy clothes. The latter part of my years as you get older, you kind of tame it down a little bit. But once I was, when I was really active playing, when I went to work professionally. Suit, tie, just wanted to make sure that, I felt good when I going to work.
Being from Baltimore, Maryland, you went to Paul Dunbar and played for the Dunbar Poets, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about, a little bit of your high school days. What was it like, playing for the Dunbar Poets? Did you ever think then that you'd be who you are now?
Well, no, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. Growing up in the city of Baltimore, playing, on one of the greatest, I believe, ever assembled high school teams ever, with the likes of a Reggie Williams, a late Reggie Lord, a David Wingate. We had some really amazing talent on our team. So much to where we felt like, even though we was the #1 team in the country, our second unit was the #2 team in the country. And we felt like, we get better games at practice than we did during actual games. It's always about banners being hung in Dunbar Poets, and we wanted to continue that tradition.
Do you ever feel like you've been on a team that dominant?
Well, 2 years we had a 59-0 record.
Wow.
So we went 31-0 one season and 28-0 the next year. We just had kids that were just hungry, and had hungry in terms of was willing to check their egos at the door, because we were so talented that coach could have easily lost control of that team. We could have easily went the other direction. But based on who we had at the helms of it, Coach Wade did such an excellent job with us because he had his imprint on it. He served more than as a basketball coach. He had many roles, some as a father role, some as, mentor and so forth.
But talk about that day before you got drafted, or earlier. How would you feel that day?
It was an amazing day back then, 1987, as you just alluded to. Being in that room with all the players that got invited up there, it was just surreal. You didn't felt like, it was about to happen, because so many years you wish and you dreamed and you visualized, and here it is, the moment is about to happen.
Yeah.
Sitting in there hearing all the names called, the 11 names called before me. You're just anxious, just nervous, just waiting to hear when that name is going to be called. But once that the Bullets had the selection, I knew they was going to take a point guard, so it was going to be either me or Mark Jackson. Mm-hmm. When I heard my name come out of the David Stern mouth, just the whole world just felt like it just lifted off their shoulders and put a hat on and welcome you to the NBA. It was, like I said, it was surreal. Can't explain the feelings that I was having, because it was that type of day.
Yeah, I bet it'd be amazing. The day a lot of young black men dream about. So you got to live that dream, and especially overcoming, the obstacle, the height issue that, I'm short as well. Speak on that, being, the shortest player ever in the NBA, and, taking on that mantle and just that celebrity in general. How does it feel? Were you proud? Did you ever feel exploited at times with that, or how do you feel in general?
Well, as a player, I always kept it in perspective. I looked at myself as a player, never got caught up in the hype part of it. I let other folks deal with that. I just played the game. You're always going to have your naysayers. You're always going to have your coaches who just have certain beliefs of what they understand. I wasn't normal. I wasn't a kid that was, you had something to go by, an example that you can go by in terms of this is what he's, someone like him done it before. So I was that guy that, creating my own image, my own imprint on the game, and the style of way I had to play the game allowed me to continue to keep climbing up the ladder. And I looked at my position more than anything as a point guard, how to run this team, what that responsibility called for. Understanding that part of it, I didn't have to deal with the size factor. I just dealt with the game itself and let other folks deal with that. My opponents, they knew who they was going up against, my peers. So that's where you get all the respect from. When you get that respect from your peers and your opponents, the media and others, it doesn't matter, because they writing on what they believe and what they hope feel on themselves. That's why I was able to change the concept or the means of, it's not about a guy 6 foot, 7 foot. It's about a guy who has the ability to play the game of basketball. Myself, the Spud Webbs, the Michael Adams, those type of players. We totally different players, had our own different type of strength, but we was able to get it across to where it was an asset as opposed to a liability for a certain team.
That's great. So in your defensive history, who can you tell us might have been the toughest person for you to ever guard?
It wasn't nobody really tough to defend, because playing against a bigger guy and one aspect of the game where they probably say, well, he will post you up, that's one element of the game. But I was a strong little kid, I was a prideful kid, I had a big ego, and I took it personally when someone wanted to go down and try to post me up. I used to get mad at my big guys when they even attempt to try to come down to help, because I know I can defend the guy on the post. Because I understood the game. I know a lot of the guards, they're not used to playing with their back towards the basket. So it's like you put him in a situation where he's not even comfortable. And I had that understanding that everybody didn't have that ability to play with their back towards the basket. And knowing that and knowing how to defend that, it kept me still on the court. And then it didn't become an issue where that became a liability for me that I have to now I'm getting exposed, that now I got to be replaced.
You feel like you faced a lot of bullying coming up as a kid?
Well, you experienced a little bullying, but once you understood what it was and who was behind it and how to defend it, you kind of, you kind of know how to ward it off and know how to protect yourself. One thing about bullying always have friends around, that eggs it on, that keeps it going. When they don't have those people around keeping it on, then there's nothing to prove, there's nothing to show off to no one. So, you always want to try to, stop someone from bullying people.
Great. Being a legendary point guard, who were some point guards that you looked up to when you were coming into the game?
Well, it was kind of hard, again, to look at and see anybody like me, because the only guy that was considerably supposed to be small was Tiny Archibald. And Tiny, he was 6'1". Okay. So, he was, so he wasn't no tiny, but he was tiny for the NBA. Then, as you learn a little more history about the game, then you learn about the Charlie Chris, the Marty Towles, and the guys that played the game. And you trying to sit, but they all had different type of style than what I had. I don't know anyone that played the game the way I play it. 94 feet, pressing the man constantly, pushing the ball constantly, running the team constantly, like, again, being that leader, that general, that extension of the coach on the floor.
What does it mean to you?
Family. What does family mean to me? Family is everything. That's the whole object of life, being part of a family. Without family, success doesn't mean anything if you can't share with it. You can't see the people grow, you can't see your loved ones prosper. It's just not worth it. So, when it comes to family, it means the world.
How you feel traveling has benefited you as a person?
Well, travel has been very educational for me. I mean, you get an opportunity to see different cultures, how people live, how people interact with one another, how they treat one another. I mean, just the different lifestyles. And when you look at it from that perspective, I mean, it's educational in itself. And that's what you got to understand. This world is made up of many, many, many elements in this life, and you got to appreciate the difference as well as the things that you do like.
Now, what do you want your legacy to be?
What do I want my legacy to be? That's a mouthful right there. I just want people just to know that I was a caring, lovable guy, you know, cared about others, didn't have an ego, didn't put people above himself, had the ultimate confidence in himself, but it was more, it was in perspective. It wasn't egotistic. I had a lot of confidence. I believed in me. I just want people to know that he, you know, always had a great smile. That again, that he cared for others, and he always wanted kids to prosper. You know, always inspiring kids. Want to make sure that they have that opportunity to reach their goals and reach their dreams. Because as a youngster, as a kid, it can be kind of cruel and difficult trying to get to where you want to go because of some of the harsh things and some of the bullying take place in this world. Thoughts that he instills in my brain, the emotions that comes out, the heart that he allows me to continue to keep feeling, that's all his creation. And I thank him every day because continue to acknowledge him, he continue to watch out for you. He continue to look over for you. And I'm thankful and I'm so blessed to have so many great things in my life, my family, my friends, you know, the jobs that I have opportunity to, you know, to still go on, the people that I come in contact with. And that's all God's will. That's all his work. And I'm just, again, I am thankful that he gave me a gift that I was able to recognize as my gift, and I was able to explore it to the highest of my ability.
You know, this is ABlackTV. I'm here with the legendary Muggsy Bogues once again, and we signing off. This is Charlotte. Peace out,
Charlotte.
Thanks a lot,
everybody. My pleasure.